Hello, spring. Through colors, scents, balmy breezes, and bird songs, spring is unfolding all around us. Do you hear the birds? Do you feel fresh spring air? Can you smell spring? Can you sense spring? Since I began living in North Carolina, I have noticed how each spring feels different. I have been contemplating, beyond enjoying my senses for this springtime, what Dharma message can I discern? Spring is a great teacher of the renewing cycle of nature. Spring connects me with a peaceful and happy memory of my childhood spent in nature. In Korea, growing up in a small village, early spring was the time for young girls to have a special after-school activity. I headed out to the wild fields with a basket and with a small knife to find the first greens of the year, called nengi, which is edible only brief first time of its growth. I can still feel the soft tickling grass through my fingers searching for nengi while squatting in one spot and then another. I smelled the fresh dirt. My cheeks felt the whisper of the spring breeze, and my back basked in the warm, soft sunlight. Returning home with a basketful of fresh nengi, my heart was light and content. My grandmother made the most delicious soup with a soybean paste and the fragrant roots and leaves of nengi. What a refreshing taste that was. After the bleak season of winter, these first greens were the delightful source of nourishment for our families. As a little girl, I was proud of being able to bring this to our family table. One spring, after moving to North Carolina, I missed this flavor of nengi soup so much that I believed I had found a nengi plant in our temple yard. So I picked them and made a soup. Later, after watching the plants grow, I realized they were just weeds. Well, I'm still here. And the flavor was not that bad either. Do you want to try? What is your favorite childhood memory of springtime? Even if you grew up in the city or a suburb, you can find a memory of spring, a memory connected with nature. Spring is a great metaphor. The natural phases of life and nature are poetically and literally realized through the cycle of spring, summer, autumn, and winter. All things sprout and bloom in spring, reach maturity in summer, become brittle in autumn, and rest in winter. In this cycle of nature, spring brings us the message of hope and promise. When we feel stuck and hopeless, we can spring up like spring. Within the root of perennial flowers, there is an undying force, undying life force. The flowers had to collapse in the winter in order to spring up at this time. Sometimes we too have to collapse in order to spring forward. Within our deep, deep awareness, our own spring unfolds. Here is a little poem by Korean poet Kim Nam-gon. Dear friend, your warm heart brings spring. Where your heart abides, flower buds open. Where your hands touch, new leaves emerge. Spring comes with your warm heart. With your happy laughter, blossoms burst open. With your bright smile, flowers greet the sun. Spring arises through your warm heart. Can you feel your warm heart today? Can you feel your warm heart today? Your kind words are warm like a sunlight in spring. It is always springtime deep in the garden of your heart. Every spring, our temple garden bodhisattva, Kathleen, asks me, 교모님, what vegetables shall we plant this year? Now I'm asking you, at this time of your life, what do you want to plant in your spring garden? What are you going to plant in your karmic garden? What would you like to harvest at the end of the growing season? Once you plant a seed or seedling, what is your intention and plan for taking care of it? Spring will soon flow into summer, and this will bring more challenges for our temple garden. I appreciate spring's arrival, but at the same time, I often feel, oh my, how will I manage this summer months with so much weed whacking, grass cutting, and the need to secure the temple against wasps and wood-boring bees. As our garden grows, there will be lots of weeds. The weather will be hot, humid, and stormy. There may be rabbits, deer, moles, and all kinds of insects who will mess with our gardens. Weeks ago, a garden fairy, Annie, brought beautiful flowers called candy tuft. On a rainy Saturday afternoon, we planted them along the walkway, but the next day, they were all gone. Drat! Rascally rabbits! In the gardens of mind, there is much potential for growing gratitude, wisdom, and joy. But we'll face many challenges and obstacles. Rascally rabbits. The founding master said, the way in which wholesome and unwholesome mental states arise from our nature, which is originally free from discrimination and attachment, is just like the way in which various types of crops or weeds grow in a field. The so-called field of the mind is the foundation of our minds. Just as we may cultivate a fallow field to make it into a productive one, so too we may cultivate the foundation of our minds in order to gain wisdom and blessing. This is the origin of the expression, cultivate the field of the mind. Hence, people who cultivate their mind fields well are like good farmers who keep weeding their fields again and again until they eliminate all the weeds and are growing only crops, thereby ensuring an abundant harvest. In the same way, you must continually investigate the arising of wholesome and unwholesome mental states. When unwholesome mental states arise, you must eliminate them over and over until they are completely gone, nourishing only the wholesome, so that wisdom and blessings will always be abundant. Dharma rain. I often connect this idea, Dharma rain, with the spring rains, which seem to say, wake up, to sprouts of buds and blossoms. Rain is vital for plants. In the same way, the little seeds and seedlings we have planted in our minds need nurturing raindrops to wake and grow. All sentient beings suffer from spiritual thirst, yearning for the sweet nectar of the Dharma rain. Whenever we listen to Dharma teachings, it is as if the nourishing rain of wisdom and ease is falling on the ground of our minds. Our thirst is relieved by Dharma rain, and our spirituality grows. Dharma rain can be like the guidance of parents and teachers. They like to use gentle and nurturing love. But sometimes, like a summer storm, they must use tough love to direct our growth. Please raise your hand if you could use some tough love today. What's this? Nobody needs tough love today? Come on. Okay. See me later, and I will make an appointment for you with the Reverend Ginger. Again, Dharma rain does not refer only to gentle, loving showers. It includes harsh, stormy weather. While stormy rain can severely damage plants, the stress can catalyze their strengths and growth. 10 years ago, Diana ordered a persimmon tree for us. She somehow knew how much a persimmon tree would bring a nostalgic connection for Kyomunims living far away from Korea. Since we planted that tree, we have given it good attention with the water, fertilizer, and pruning. The tree grew and grew, but did not bear fruit until last year. After going through 2 big storms, the tree bore its very first fruit, each branch loaded with the sweetest persimmons ever. During the torrential storms, we wondered whether the persimmons would hold onto their branches, but those rains strengthened the tree, making the fruit bigger and sweeter. This tree has brought the grace of nectar to birds, Korean 교무님s, and temple visitors. I'm not sure what kind of hurricanes and storms may come this year. Brian, do you know what kind of storms are coming to your life?
I can anticipate some, but not all.
Last Wednesday was the spring equinox. An equinox is the time when the center of the sun is directly above the equator. Spring equinox is the day of a perfect balance between the energies of yin and yang, between light and dark, coolness and warmth, between passion and tranquility. There is a saying in Korea, if you don't cultivate your garden by the spring equinox, you will be hungry all year long. This is very important, especially for farmers. They seize the optimal timing to plant with more light and more warmth from the sun. Warm yang energy is expanding. This supports the cultivation in our gardens for flowers, vegetables, and for kindness, gratitude, and mindfulness. So if you don't cultivate your mind garden in the spring, a summer storm may uproot your persimmon tree. In our temple, we have a couple of nice vegetable plots we have created over the years by adding compost and rich soil. However, I sometimes miss the timing to plant the seeds and ended up growing only weeds on the fertile ground. I missed the timing because I got lazy, saying to myself, tomorrow, later. How often have we said, next time, when there are opportunities for growing our wisdom and blessings right now? For example, please support crop work for the community. I'd love to, but next time. Can you help with the hurricane relief fund? I'd love to, but not today. Come meditate with us and join our Dharma study. I'd love to, but I am too busy. Please help with the temple gardening. I'd love to, but later. There may be another time, but there may be not. Like a river, the opportunities to plant the seeds of merit and wisdom flow by and may never return. Our founding teacher said, though the spring breeze blows impartially, only living trees can receive lively spring energy and grow. Though sages and teachers give Dharma teachings impartially, only people with the belief and open hearts can receive them completely. At this time of the year, I often find that some branches and bushes are completely dead. How do I know? They are not responding at all to the light, even though spring has arrived. In order to create space for new growth, we must prune dead branches and remove dead roots. We change the filters of our lawnmowers and check gardening supplies. In order to welcome and receive the bright, young energy, spring cleaning in our mind garden is essential. We need to change our mind's filters. Any static energy or clutter, such as old beliefs and dormant, wintry habits, needs to be cleared out to let the spring light shine in. In this spring of unlimited potential, what do you want to make possible in your life? What seeds and seedlings do you want to plant in your mind garden? Spring can be overwhelming, and we can easily feel behind. Therefore, we need to prioritize. What are your top priorities today? How do you envision your life unfolding this spring for balance and for the utmost growth?